Floss Tube. This is Cass, one half of Dances with Floss. Welcome. Notice today we are missing Tanya. This is a little bit of a special episode. Tanya moved from an apartment to her very first house, and she's exhausted, understandably. So I told her, don't worry about doing Floss Tube this week. I'll keep us on schedule. I got stuff to talk about. So you just get me this week. It's a little bit of a different episode because I'm going to, this is the introduction, and then this video is going to pause, and you are going to see a quarterly mini WIP parade of the 10 projects that I share with Babs from Cottage Rogue. So you'll be seeing that in just a couple of minutes. I do want to start out by thanking everybody, though, who joined our Floss Tube recently or subscribed to our Floss Tube recently, and who participated in my birthday sal and Tanya's birthday sal. Hers was the Cranky Kitty birthday sal, and mine was Feathered Friends birthday sal. So thank you guys. When you're done seeing the fantastic mini quarterly WIP parade with me and Babs, stay tuned because I will pop back in with the rest of the video. We're going to do a wrap up of my Artsy Housewife stitching commitment for March, what all I managed to get done, how far I got in April with doing all 4 of the birds and cups. So you'll get to see that. I am sitting in my brand new stitchy chair that I have affectionately named Gilda. It is vintage from late 50s, early 60s. It's their version of a recliner. It's kind of in a permanent recline position. It's fantastic. Don't mind the beep. That's my dinner going off. So stay tuned. I'll be right back after just this brief switch, and then we'll have more stuff to talk about.
Hello, welcome to the cottage. I am Babs with Cottage Rogue.
And I'm Cass with Dances with Floss.
And welcome to our Sassy Stitchers quarterly shared WIP parade.
We've done the math, and apparently we share 10 projects.
10.
So, similar to the Sarahs that do Stitching Sarah and Sarah W, we're gonna share our shared projects with all of you.
Yeah.
So, sorry, putting my water down. This is our spring quarter. This was also really helpful for me because when you see this on the way we do this, we're going to both post this on our pages, but when you watch hers, there will be a second part to her one video that'll be just her and what she has to share with you. And there will be a second part to the Dances with Floss posting of this WIP parade, where I will share something unique to my video post. So please be sure to check us both out. And this is helping me out a lot this month because poor Tanya has moved.
Oh, yes. She's so busy right now unpacking and everything.
She is exhausted because that was a marathon, a 2-week marathon, and she needed a break.
Yep.
And she has not stitched in that 2 weeks.
Poor thing.
And we said, dear, we have you covered.
Yes,
so
we do.
take care of it.
Yep.
So I put them in order of when we started them.
And of course I did alphabetical order because that's just how I roll, so.
We're very similar,
Yeah.
but different.
Slightly different there.
Just a little skewed different.
And you'll see that in our whips too, so for sure.
Yeah, you'll definitely see that in our thought processes.
Yes.
We have very similar taste in projects.
Yes.
I mean, we even going through this realized we have projects queued up to start where we're going to overlap more. So
exactly.
this is going to continuously be a thing. This is why this is going to be a quarterly. We may see this grow from 10.
Yep.
We don't know. Do you want to start or do you want me to?
I can start.
Okay.
Well, we're going to start with Forest Friends. This is a Tiny Modernist. And here's what I have so far. Now, this was one of my first ones where I really, really, really got back into stitching. It was what, last year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was last year. And this was my first sell. Mm-hmm. And so I just grabbed whatever fabric that I happen to have. And this is a printed Aida that I found at a shop.
I corrupted her with the good stuff after this.
Which I'm not unhappy about. And I have these top 2 quadrants completed and part of the third as well. And I actually do have a border around this that you can't see because it is white. And yeah, I'm a little bit more careful about that now. But what's special about this is it's glow in the dark. Mm-hmm. So I'm very excited to see all the white in here is actually glow in the dark floss. So yay.
My white shows up a little better.
Yeah.
I am stitching on a craft store 32 count Murano because I had it in stash and I wanted to use it, and I thought that the white border would show nicely on it. Mm-hmm. And it does.
It does.
Instead of using glow in the dark floss though, I used Etoile.
So you're shiny.
I'm sparkly. Yeah. Although I was kind of tricky and I did the bottom leg with B5200 so that it would be a nice bright white, and the top leg only is the Etoile. And it conserves the floss nicely, but it takes twice as long to stitch because it's like you're stitching the whole border one time and then doing the whole border a second time because you can't just make the X and keep going. I worked on this actually just last night, and I'm just now over 50%. Clearly, I got way behind in the sal.
Well, I mean, we both did.
I don't do well at sals.
Yeah. They're rough.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
This was my March or February WIP go. Mm-hmm. It was February.
I think this was my January WIP go, but I pulled it back out for spring because I'm looking at what are my spring. I have decided I'm pitching WIP go. I'm done. I can't. I just want to stitch what I want to stitch when I want to stitch it. It keeps me from doing starts that I want to do. No, we're not doing it. So I pulled out some of my spring projects from last year so that I can just make time. This was one I felt like working on. And I was thinking about it, like if I just even did like one of these like every 2 weeks, I could be done by the end of spring.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know if I will, but I might try.
Yeah, I'd like to get this one done too.
Especially once I'm over 50%, it's a lot easier.
Oh, it is so much. It was so nice doing this third quadrant. Well, still got more to do, but that's all good.
But yeah, I completely finished the first quadrant.
Yeah.
That little guy's all done. I just got to do back stitch.
Are you going to do the little fluffers on the end of like the tail and stuff? Like for instance, the porcupine has little spikes on it.
Oh, I will do the spikes and stuff.
Spikes.
That's back stitch, so I just do that when I'm all done.
No, that makes sense. I'm not sure I'm going to do the max stitch on the fox and the rabbit and the skunk because I feel that with the porcupine or the hedgehog, they're the quills.
Yeah, and that was necessary.
It was necessary, and it seems a little odd to have quill-like things on the other 3 animals. So I think I'm not going to do that.
I'm omitting the little white dots that are like, why?
Yeah.
It's filler.
I'm keeping them because they're glow in the dark.
That makes a little more sense. Yeah. But I was just like, it's filler. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So our that project is Forest Friends.
Forest Friends.
I like your bag.
Oh, thank you. Ninja Turtles. Right here. Jasmine custom bag.
Which leads us to WIP number 2, where we accidentally showed up with the same bag.
Yeah, we both ordered it. We didn't even discuss it to begin with.
And then also put the same project in it.
Yep. And we showed up to our Stitchy group.
Yeah.
With the same stuff.
That's how our taste rolls.
Yeah. I love it.
But now here's where we're different. Now, we're both using the Roxy Floss conversion for this.
Yes.
And we did both pick a green fabric.
Mm-hmm.
However, mine is kind of neon.
And mine, while still green, is not.
And this is Within a Dream that was just released at Market.
Yes.
And if you need to see a picture of it, I have my iPad.
Oh, perfect.
And I can pull that up. Ha ha.
Well, you've done
you in just a moment.
You've done some work.
I have. I'm at the point where if I wanted to start stitching the Raven, I can.
Awesome.
So we are in her Patreon.
Yeah.
So that's how we got it.
You will see more than one Artsy Housewife pattern. I think we have 4 of them. I counted. That we're doing together. We have plenty more that we're not doing together.
Yeah, I have way more than 4.
Yes.
Way more than 4.
Absolutely.
That's what it looks like. But y'all just saw that at Market. If
Yep.
unless you've been under
Hiding.
a rock or on a no
buy.
social media blackout.
Oh, yes.
Unless you've been on a social media blackout, which I wouldn't blame you for, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would have seen this.
Yeah.
Because it was all the rage. But yep. We're both using the Roxy Floss conversion.
Yes.
I'm having a little trouble with I think the little moon here is not really showing up. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that.
It shows up pretty well in person, I think.
I don't know.
Little
I
bit.
am not satisfied.
Mm.
So I'm not sure what I'm gonna use my messy back. I am not the cleanest, tidiest stitcher. It's a lot better than it used to be.
Still what it is. Tell what it is, though.
But yeah.
That works. But yeah.
And she bought me this needle minder.
Mm-hmm.
It says, I myself am anxious and confused.
I bought it in Missouri. Mm-hmm. I was on vacation. I'm like, oh, I know someone who would like this.
Mm-hmm. That does describe me.
All right, what's our next one? Because we'll just go with your list.
Okay. That would be Scary Sampler.
Oh, perfect.
In September. I was kind of shocked that we had gone that long without duplicating. But it wasn't that we hadn't. It was that we had stuff planned out.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, at that point, we knew we were going to be starting a whole bunch of stuff similar.
Yes.
But we just hadn't actually executed yet.
Mm-hmm. I can't really see mine. Here you go. It's on very dark fabric.
And we took very different approaches.
Very much.
I like to stitch from starting in the top corner.
And I started at the bottom left, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is what we're working on. This is the Scary Sampler.
I love this.
Mm-hmm.
By Carriage House Sampling.
No,
I'm sorry.
Heartstring
Samplery.
And I mean, she just is rocking them out of the park.
I
love her play on the typical sampler motifs, but spinning them for those of us who love pop culture. So
I love the nerd references. They're so great.
We both made market purchases.
Based on that too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But mine is stitched on, what did I use?
Looks like Middle
Earth.
Yeah.
Middle Earth. Yeah.
And mine stitched on Devil's Claw.
Mm-hmm. And I use 16 count.
And I'm at 18.
And I am using DMC.
And I'm using mostly DMC. I added a couple greens. I have both from Stash. One's a silk and one's not. And I do not remember for the life of me who made them.
Oh, that reminds me.
You have a green.
I did add a green silk for the alien heads.
Yeah.
Because
those are awesome.
Those were supposed to be like a gray color that blended in. And I was like, oh no. Mm-hmm. I want you to see those aliens.
Yeah.
And the greens that I used in the demigorgons, is that what they are?
Yes.
Demigorgons. Those are Sulky, because I had just discovered how wonderful Sulky was. And I was like, I want to use it in lots of things, and was just going overboard.
Yeah.
I do that.
And my one green, I think it's called Dragon or Green Dragon or something. It was from the Adventures Collection box.
Yeah, we were definitely going through an experimental phase where we were like finding all the stuff and going, did you know about this box? Did you know?
And purchases were made.
We were messaging each other back and forth going like, did you hear about, I didn't know this was a thing. When did this become a thing in cross stitch?
Exactly.
When did you do this thing?
And we both have done cross stitch like way back when we were kids and stuff. None of this was available. Mm-hmm. And then got back into it. So
I would have been a more consistent cross stitcher, and I was fairly consistent. I did some things because I did find some outside of the box things when I was more in my late teens and early 20s, but then I got busy having babies and raising babies, and then it was a thing. But and just lost track, and the whole thing exploded on me.
It's all right. We found our way back.
From there should be Halloween at Hawkrun Hallow.
This one.
And
yep, there we are.
So this is Carriage House sampling.
Yes. I knew we had one.
I'm sure what you were thinking of.
It was.
So this is what it's going to look like. We started on different blocks.
Yes, we did.
As we are wont to do.
Yep.
Now, we did use the same fabric because I was bound and determined I was not using the called for.
Yes.
And I did not like what I had originally picked. And then she picked this fabric and I went, oh, I like that so much better.
Yep. So this is Cypress from Murano Whim. Mm-hmm. I have 18 count. What do you have? Same?
Yeah, 20.
20? Oh, no, I have 20 as well. I still have the thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I recommended 20.
Yeah. And I did 1/1 on this. And I think we both picked the same floss for the outline as well.
Because it's really cool.
Yeah. So my square is in the bottom left, and it has the 3 coffins in it. And I kind of went off a little bit. Kind of see, I gave my vampire pinstripe pants. So, yeah, I felt that he deserved pinstripe pants.
I mean, the thing is, I am not liking the called fors, so I have gone rogue. Yep. I am using, and I have to thank Carolyn at Thread Gremlins for that, because I was miserable going, this pattern is so pretty. Why do I hate this? Why do I hate it so much?
Colors aren't bright enough. Yeah.
So, I mean, you could tell down here I'm using called for, but then when I got to the haunted house and I could not bring myself to use the called for. I'm in shadow and I'm so sorry. But that's I'm on block 1. I changed the colors in the haunted house, and I'm so much happier. And so then that just told me it's just going to have to be brighter as I go, and I'm going to pick colors as I go, and
that's fine.
Yeah.
Make it your own.
I will be happier when it's done.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to do like a tapestry finish for it, since it's only going to be up seasonally.
That's a great idea. I love that.
But I got a long way to go.
Yes, we both
It's
do.
going to take years.
Years.
Because I don't love it as much as I thought I would. From there, yeah, this would be right. Then we have a Christmas start.
So that's lit.
Lit. Now this is a case of us having different approaches.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Artsy Housewife lit.
Yep, you got a paper pattern and I am digital. Because I waited for her to release it digitally.
And I did not.
And I bought the Roxy Floss conversion.
And I'm using I bought the Pirate and Robin conversion, except for the Cardinal, which I used a PR number that I don't have on me right now. An Australian one. But I had to get the Cardinal done. You have a lot of the lights.
Yeah.
Nice.
I kind of liked it as a nice, like, through. It kind of made it easier to connect things.
Yeah.
I believe I used a 20 count. Maybe?
I know mine's 18.
Maybe mine... I don't think I intended to use... Well, maybe mine is 18.
It looks like it's the same size.
I think I intended to use 16, though.
Because mine's 18 Atomic Ranch Pistachio, which is the same color I used in Within a Dream.
My tag should be in here somewhere. I used a fabric from Roxy Floss Co.
Nice.
But did I write it down? That's the question. I usually save the little fabric tag.
Yeah.
And usually I stick it in the bag. I don't know if I did that this time. But I'm pretty sure that my intention was to use the 16. Oh, I remember now. Because when it came, I ordered 16. And then I was looking at it going, that don't look like 16.
Yeah, it looks closer to 18.
So I'm treating it like it's a 16, but it really is an 18. And it's so tight that I really could, in theory, do single strand. But I'm not gonna. I like puffy stitches anyway.
I just love this color. Avocado's the best. Or pistachio's the best. Greens.
I wanted blue because I wanted a blue, but not too dark of a blue. Giving like the hint of a night sky, but not quite. Like, it's dusk and we're getting ready to go on the ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Ultimately, I think that one's going to go to my son because he likes some reindeer. He walks around in a goofy hat at his job during the winter that has reindeer antlers. And he has a reindeer onesie.
That's so perfect.
And he's 17.
That's so
he
perfect.
has no shame about it whatsoever. Like, his little sister, the year before he got that onesie, his little sister got a reindeer onesie. And he was like, how come she got one and I didn't?
Oh.
And I went, you want one? And he's like, yeah. I filed that in my memory bank. And the following Christmas, and I didn't buy her the onesie. Personally, I would have known to just buy them both one. My mother did it. And she just thought, why would a boy want a reindeer onesie? She doesn't, I mean, she knows he's a goofball.
Yeah.
But she's, 62. So she doesn't think about, gender role things. So I know my boy, and he don't care. He once jokingly referred to himself as a pretty princess. So
nice.
He doesn't care.
Good.
This is our
Stitch for Pride.
These
20 stitches.
that we started like January 2nd.
Yeah. And we're doing okay with it. Mostly keeping up. We got a little bit behind in March.
Yeah, which was mostly because, you were sick a lot.
Well, I was sick and got hit by a car. So
yeah, that's true.
things happened.
Well, your car got hit by a car. You did not get hit by a car.
Well, no.
Thankfully.
Thankfully.
Because that would be tragic. That would be very tragic.
Yeah, that's happened to someone in my family before. It was not fun.
But yeah, and I think we even picked very similar colors.
We did. Although you're using Sulky, right?
I am using Sulky.
Yeah, and I'm using DMC and Night Stalker's Calling the Advent Calendar flosses. So the pink variegated on mine and the blue variegated are DMC.
What fabric did you use? Did you literally use the same fabric that I did?
I don't know. I did Spooky by BeStitchMe.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not.
Oh, okay, they're really similar though.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a 20 count Spooky by BeStitchMe. I thought it was perfect.
Mine is a 20 count, but I have to look. I think
Yeah.
I wrote it down. Oh, mine is Night Sky by Fiber on a Whim.
Nice. Very similar.
It's in a mermaid bag.
I love it.
Because I thought the colors went well with the trans pride.
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
I do think it's kind of funny that we have made very similar color choices. Although we're deviating on the March one.
Yep.
I am also doing pink for the dragon, but I did blue for the sword. And I worked in my third color in the sun and the display up here.
And I'm going to
Although
put the blue up here.
April, I think the April one is a Native American, and that Native American is Two-Spirit rather than trans. So what I'm leaning towards is that I'm going to make the most dominant color my third rainbow color, my pastel rainbow color.
That's perfect.
Silence my phone. And then I'm just going to use the blue and the pink as accents.
I haven't figured out what I'm going to do for it yet. I might even pull in a whole nother color. Seriously considering doing the sun in March as yellow variegated. So we'll see what I end up doing.
I'm going to try and be faithful to my three colors and not deviate from my three colors.
Oh, I've already deviated for mine, so. Because I have the flowers. I have the flowers with Ellie Bias. I guess she always threw flowers.
Elagabalus.
I've heard multiple ways.
Yeah, but the way you're saying it is leaving out the G.
Yeah. I heard someone who really studies in Roman history, and that's how he said her name. So, I don't know what's right or wrong.
Sorry for the zipper right next to the mic. I apologize.
It'll be fine.
I forgot.
It'll be fine.
And then, of course, the last time you saw us together was in January.
Yeah, you show how good yours is, and then I'll show mine, and we can have a good laugh at it. Oh, wait, I have the picture. Ragnarok, Long Dog Sampler. Didn't you finish a page?
Yep, I've started page 2 now. I have totally finished page 1. The only thing that's missing on page 1 is the squirrel's tail, and I'm going to wait to do that until I get down here and get to the squirrel.
Yeah, so I haven't stitched on this since we got together in January. I know.
Girlfriend, I'm on pace to finish. I mean...
Okay, April is my makeup catch-up month for a reason. And this is one of them. What? I know. But I was stitching a train for months.
Wow.
And it's done. It's now done.
I mean...
So next time I'll have more progress on this.
I've just been doing 100 stitches a day.
Yeah.
The only time I did not work on this was the entire month of March. I did not touch it.
True, because that was your artsy birthday.
We started on, what was it, January 20th?
Yeah.
And for the inauguration.
That's what I did.
And from January 20th on, I've stitched on this faithfully for 100 stitches a day until the end of February. And when I finished page 1, I full stopped. because I knew my plan for March was that I was only stitching
Mm-hmm.
Artsy Housewife
Yep.
for the entire month of March.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not going to touch this again until April, and now it's April.
Yeah.
And I have gotten back into it. And like I added all of I have extended the page. And I like to block things out. So I outlined the sky, and then I can do the fill-in. And then once I've done that for page 2, then I'll start working. I'll pick one leaf and I'll outline a leaf and I'll fill in the leaf. And then I'll just, until I've done all the leaves on the page. I realized today that I'm going to have to figure out what color I'm going to make the ravens. I didn't think about that.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Because I don't want this to have too many colors. I have a green and blue color scheme mostly with red for the red herrings. But I'm going to have to make the other elements different colors. And I'm like, did I decide what I was doing about that? I don't think I did.
I know I wrote all of my decisions down because I knew I'd forget if I didn't.
I kind of just bought a color palette.
Yeah.
And went, we're just going to work with that. And then I thought about certain things like the color of the boat and the color of... I was so obsessed with the red herrings and getting the right red for the red herrings.
Yeah.
Which is probably mostly going to be different reds for all of them.
My favorite bag.
It's a pretty excellent bag.
My favorite one. Love it.
And then we both started, I'm going to have to look this one up on my iPad for us.
Is this hyperbole? Or is this...
Yes.
Okay. You're going to laugh on this one too.
We disagree on how to say that. Because I look at how it's spelled and I keep wanting to say hyperbole. I know that's not correct. I do know that. But
everyone has a word like that. For me, it's salmon. Because I look at them like, oh, it's salmon. It's not. I was corrected.
And I think if I were using hyperbole in a sentence, I would have no trouble saying it right. It's just that I'm not using it in a sentence. It's a title of something. So I want to say it the way it's spelled. But that's what it's going to be.
It's so beautiful. I love it. It's very dense.
Yes. And I'm going to make some modifications to mine. But, sorry, I got to reach.
It's okay.
So far, I've only started the top border.
I have 100 stitches.
I did get all of the red all the way across the top.
That's so nice. That's 100 stitches per 1,300 stitches. I checked. I remember that from January, actually. So yeah, this is mine. I have it on C glass, 18 count Aida.
I am using a 16 count Aida. Mine is called Morning Glory.
It's really pretty.
Yeah, pretty sure that's right.
I love it.
By Fibers on a Whim. I love it. I wanted a warm color. When I saw all that red in the color palette, I was like, okay, so I do kind of get why she did that khaki green color, but I didn't like it. And I wanted to see it stitched on a warm sky.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the sky can be pink in the morning.
Oh, yeah. And at night. Sunset.
So, yeah.
So, for sure.
Yeah, I like this. So far, I'm using DMC. However, I bought the Roxy Floss conversion, which will be here anytime now. So I'm kind of slow walking my start on this one because I am mostly going to use the Roxy Floss Co. I am just on borders like this where you're not really going to see the variegation. It's like, I'll just use the DMC. That's fine. So some elements I'm going to consistently do in the DMC and some elements I'm going to do in the Roxy Floss. And it'll just be a hybrid of that. But I did buy the floss pack. I've got some significant changes, though, overall that I'm going to make.
Very cool.
Down the one side, I want to say, should be down this side. It's supposed to just be like an alphabet. I counted it out, the number of letters that it's slotted for, because it's like part of the alphabet and then the rest is underneath. I counted it out, and the number of letters going down is the exact number of letters to spell hyperbole.
It's very cool.
So I'm going to just spell it right there. And then where the alphabet is in the bottom, I'm going to pick a very short quote and stitch a quote there instead.
That works.
I'm going to try and pick a quote that is a hyperbole.
Nice.
So
awesome. See, for me, I picked this color just because it reminds me of a garden. Just, you know, green. Like, well, there's a big garden on that pattern, so I'm like, why not? As for the alphabets and stuff, yeah, I'm not sure. I might actually stitch them because I don't know if I've actually stitched an alphabet before. Just to see.
I just don't see the point in stitching the alphabet over and over and over and over again on all these samplers. I don't understand. I would rather see quotes all over my wall. I have stitched an alphabet. That's the only one I ever want to do.
Nothing wrong with that. This may be the only one I ever do.
Then we get to the birthday sals.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a birthday sal. It just wasn't for us.
Right. That was Gigi.
For Gigi, the Artsy Housewife, who, if you haven't figured out, is my favorite designer. I think she's pretty rad.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best picture I got. Do you think that picture's okay? It's just in the pictures. It's not in the...
I think so.
Because you can't really see the symbols.
Well, no, you really can't.
If I did... Let me try and do it this way. Preview? Haha!
Ah, that'll work.
Okay. So, for Bab's birthday sal...
We have Heart Sampler.
Oh, it's like way washed out on the screen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nope, there you go.
This is what we got.
It's Heart Sampler by Bad Vibes Only. Mm-hmm. And I just love the anatomical heart in the middle. And all of like the rib cage and the sword and everything. It's beautiful. So we both took very different routes on this. And I would have gotten more done, but again, February was not a good month for me this year.
You poor dear, it was rough.
It was very rough. But I did get this much. So the original pattern calls for the red flosses on like a pink background. And I decided, well, what if I do a pink background with blue floss? So these are all, this is a BeStitchMe Silk, which I'm very happy. And then Cass did the opposite.
I'm using all the called for DMCs, but I am stitching it on blue fabric.
Yeah.
And my blue fabric is Smooth Sailing by Roxy Floss Co.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was using it for another pattern and was like, oh my God, it is literally perfect. It is what I had been envisioning because your blood is blue until it touches oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, with the big anatomical heart, which I love. I'm so looking forward to stitching that anatomical heart.
Me too.
The rib cage and the anatomical heart were like the two things that sold me on this pattern.
Yes.
I was like, I have got to stitch this.
I love them so much. Mm-hmm. And I forget the name of this. This might be Nekomata, if I'm not mistaken, by Black Dahlia Fabrics. So I believe I have it right. If I don't, I'll put a thing up.
I could not put it down until I hit that rib cage. So.
Yeah. That's going to be my next goal on that. Mm-hmm. I love that rib cage.
It's quite excellent.
Yes.
And if you're keeping track, that is 9.
It is 9.
So we're ending on my birthday sal.
Yeah.
The Feathered Friends birthday sal.
Mm-hmm.
And now the sad part is I finished.
Yeah.
You got this.
And I have not. But I got the outline of the bird. That's over 800 stitches right there. Mm-hmm. I love the owl. And then mine's on sandbar, I believe.
And mine is on cold foam.
No, this isn't sandbar. This is boneyard.
because, I mean,
Cold foam coffee. It makes sense.
she's in a coffee mug. Opal
Yes.
is sitting in a coffee mug.
Yes, and I love Opal.
I have named her Opal.
Mm-hmm.
You can name yours whatever you want.
Mine, for sure.
Mine is Opal.
Opal's a wonderful name.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She was fun.
I did enjoy when I was stitching.
Oh my god! And then I had like a little hanger on, but yeah. She's usually I'm pretty prompt about FFOing my finishes.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason I have not is because I didn't just do one. I am doing all 4 of the birds and cups.
Yes.
I have finished 2 of them.
Mm-hmm.
I started with You've Got This because it had the least amount of stitches. Yeah. And then I did the Peace Dove Cup of Peace because it had the most stitches. And now I am doing the other 2. And I am over 50% on the other 2.
Yay!
I will show those shortly. After Babs has gone home for the day.
Yeah. And I do have all those patterns too, so at some point I will be stitching those as well.
Mm-hmm. And by the time she gets to them, I will already be done with them.
Exactly.
So, because I plan on finishing both of them in April.
Perfect. Nice.
So they'll probably never make our
quarterly thing. But that's okay.
Because they'll be on my wall by then.
Absolutely.
But I'm not framing them until all of them are done, because then I'm going to get the same frame for all of them.
Oh, that'll be so nice.
Which,
yes,
I'm kind of basing the measurement, because I want them all to be the same size, but they're all not the same size.
Mm.
The Peace Dove is the largest, highest stitch count. So I'm basing the frame size off of the Peace Dove, and then they're just all going to get the same frame size.
It makes sense.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think right now it's going to be a 7-inch circle is what it's looking like.
Awesome. Lovely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So that's what we got.
So that's our group portion. Mm-hmm. But stick around.
Because there's more.
There is more.
Welcome back to part 2. Hopefully you enjoyed the mini WIP parade. So you may have noticed I dressed in theme today. There is a flamingo on my shirt and in my earrings because my birthday Sal, because what we're going to talk about now is to wrap up the March madness of my Artsy Housewife madness that I did for the birthday Sal. So I did all Artsy Housewife patterns, even convinced Tanya to do Artsy Housewife Kitty for hers because she's the cranky kitty. So she had a cat pattern and I had a cat pattern, and you've seen those, so I'm not going to rehash my cat pattern, but I did manage to stay on theme and I was tempted. I was really tempted, but I did manage to only stitch Artsy Housewife all the way through March 31st. That was really hard when market haul started coming in. Oh, so much goodness. Oh my gosh. I am going to see if Tanya wants to do a floss tube extra of our market haul, because I think that if we tried to show our whips with our market haul, it would be a stupid long video. And I have noticed that when we have longer, like hour and a half videos, because we have a lot of haul, we tend to have a lot less viewers. So you can let me know in comments if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that you guys don't like the longer videos as much. I know personally I like the long ones because usually when I'm watching FlossTube, I'm sitting and stitching, and I don't want to have to change my videos all the time. I prefer to be just let it play. I know I was loving, I just last night watched the 2 hour um, floss tube from Between Two WIPs from Evertote with Carrie and Caroline. So that was awesome. So enjoyed that. I have a huge order coming. I got my bonus at work, and ha 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 ha. I went shopping on the Evertote website just a little bit. Um, so, but what we're going to talk about, what I want to talk about, is the um, birthday Sal wrap up. So I am in my stitchy spot, and I'm pulling up my iPad, opening up my iPad to talk about my birds. Now, you already saw that I finished You Got This, right? Kind of awesome. Way excited. But also, I finished Cup of Peace. Now, I do have some regrets. I was trying to carry this blue throughout all 4 patterns. So far, I think I've done an okay job. I do, however, wish that I had not done the lettering in blue, because I was kind of trying to do it in a different way each time. Okay, so I did it in the letters on this one. The problem is it's the same value. I think value is the correct word. So I know when it's like, or it might be tone. I want to say value though. If 2 colors are the same saturation level or like darkness level, they sometimes bleed together or blend together, which is kind of what's happening here. You kind of have to really look. I did also change the pink hearts were supposed to be brown. They were supposed to be like the color of the middle of that, but I didn't really like that. And I was like, there's kind of a lot of pink in the flamingo and in gorgeous. So we had to change that. So I did pink instead of brown for the hearts. Otherwise, I pretty much used the Roxy Floss conversions. I mostly stuck to Hannah's conversion. I did go, you know what, this color is really similar to this color, and so I'm just going to use this in both patterns. So I did do a little bit of that, but some of that was for cohesion, right? Because these are all going to hang together in my kitchen with my coffee mugs, which I have a lot of. So, yeah, that was the plan. And I have named the piece of Doris. So I have Opal, the owl you have just seen, and now Doris, the dove. Now, next on my list, the third one I started. Oh, there's my needle. Still in the hoop and rocking the Ice Cream Parlor needle minder is gorgeous. Now, with all of these, I did stitch these on the same fabric. I bought a fat quarter of cold brew. Actually, it came in my fabric of the month when I was subscribed to the BeStitchMe fabric of the month in the 20 count neutral. I got cold brew, which I thought was great because I had intended all along to stitch these on cold brew. I was going to do it in 18 count, but I was like, you know what? This is what I got and I'm going with it. So 20 count cold brew. And now with the color of the fabric, this cup in the chart was supposed to be white. It's supposed to be bright white. However, I feel like white disappears on this fabric. which you'll see in a minute when I show you the flamingo. So I decided, you know what, we've got to repeat yellow somewhere in this one because there was no yellow in this pattern. And there's a lot of yellow in the other two. So where was I going to work yellow in here? Decided the perfect way to do it was to replace the cup color instead of white and do it in yellow. And then I carried the blue, but in a different kind of way. I actually used the dark blue from the first one. And instead of doing the light blue, I used the dark blue to do the lettering for Gorgeous. So, yep. I like how she came out. I think we agreed that her name was going to be Rita. I'm not sure though. Gotta look. Somebody had suggested the perfect name, and I was like, that's it, that one. But yeah, Gorgeous. She's not finished. She's at like 50%, like right at 50%. But I will have her done before the end of April. Because really all I have left is to finish filling in the cup and then the vine of roses. So there should be 3 roses. I have completed the first rose and I have 2 more, and then I will do the leaves. And I can tell you that a change that I'm going to make in the leaves is that I will do similar to what I did with Opal, in that I changed the leaf color for Opal to give the leaves some variation. And I will do that again here. I'm actually going to do that in all of them. The only one I didn't need to do that with was the Cup of Peace Doris, because she only had 2 leaves and they were large leaves. So I didn't mess with the leaves there. But yeah, that is my 3rd bird. And my final birthday bird was Dreamer, that I named Faye. The flamingo. I like flamingos. Listen, they're not my favorite bird, but I do have a lot of flamingos because I like pink. If you saw my apartment right now, just from where I'm sitting, I can count 3 flamingos that are not ones I'm wearing. So there used to be a lot more. I went through a purge and I had to pare down the number of flamingos because even I could admit that it had become overwhelming. And they aren't the only bird. I like swans. That's my new kick, swans. I like swans. I like ravens. I really like ravens. So I just like all birds. I didn't want flamingos to be overly represented. So this has my bakery needle minder. Because where do you get a birthday cake from? The bakery. So changes that I made to this. I did not use I believe that the lettering in this is supposed to be white, but I decided to use the yellow from the Peace mug. Use that for lettering here. Another place that I will add consistency is that the leaves are all one color in this when I get to them. Because currently I'm at 68% on this one. This will probably be the next one I finish. I started this one actually on the Saturday of my birthday, the 22nd, which was the official date for my birthday, Sal. I did it the whole month, but the official start date was my birthday on the 22nd. And so I will do each of the leaves. I kind of alternate colors. So it'll have that same effect that I did for Opal, my You've Got This Owl. Also, where I'm going to get the blue in this one, I thought this was pretty smart. There are supposed to be stars in this corner, and the stars are charted in white. I'm going to do them in blue, in the light blue. They'll show up great. But, I'm still using Roxy Floss. That has not changed. In fact, I don't know why this took me so long to figure out. I have this fantastic vintage lamp from the 50s. The lady that I bought it from at Vintage to Die For, which is also where I bought my chair, um, called it the cow lamp, spotted cow. I admit, kind of looks that way. Um, but I don't know why I never thought of this. So it's got these they're decorative detail, but they're kind of hooks. And I've been hooking my floss rings on it while I'm sitting here stitching. So these are my floss rings, and I keep all of them out. I have different ones for the different birds because I really do pull colors from the other conversions to add on different versions. So as I've been working on them, they've been right there. And I just grab a strand. It's been pretty fantastic. So there's that. But that's not all. Because this ADD girl could not just stitch on 4 birds. No, 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 no. But I stayed true to my commitment that I was only doing Artsy Housewife. I did do Cats and Cocoa for the Cranky Kitty. But it seemed appropriate. I started Boone's birthday bird sow. Doesn't look like much. I just have some of the black border in. This is going to be huge. I am stitching it on 36 count linen, Badlands by BeStitchMe. I know, I'm dipping my toe in that linen water. It is going okay. It's not killing me. I can do it. As I'm bracing myself for my next modern folk embroidery that's going to be on linens, and okay, we're going to experiment. I can do this. So there's this one. I did, in the haul that's coming, that is not here yet, order the floss pack from Roxy Floss Co. That didn't keep me from, even though that's not here yet, that didn't keep me from starting because one of the colors is the black, and I happen to have the Roxy Floss Co. called for black in my stash. So I pulled that one because you need multiple skeins of black anyway, so that I could get started. So I did that. And I worked on that for, I want to say I did 4 days. Officially, this says I'm at, what percentage? Good question. Officially, I'm at 2%. Yay me. But that's because it's 30,000 stitches. Now I'm going to save myself some stitch because there's supposed to be some background. Not doing that. I have made the executive decision that I don't like fill. I mean, I'm okay with fill, but I don't like full coverage. And I'm going to pull up the picture for you. Okay. So that is, let me get a little closer. That is, oh, sorry, you can see my progress. That is Boone's birthday sow. Boone's birds. It's pretty awesome. However, in those 2 motifs in the bottom there, or in the middle, the black and the yellow, I need stitch in that background because I like my fabric and I want to see this beautiful modeling on this fabric. So I'm going to let it show through. I know that it's supposed to be like a day and night scene. I'm fine with it. I don't need that. So we're just going to skip that. But otherwise, I'm using the called for Roxy Floss when it gets here. So excited about that. Very excited about that. I'm going to be stitching it 1/2. I've decided on the 36. I like the coverage better. I kind of experimented a little bit with, do I like the 2/2 or 1/2? I like the 1/2 better. with the 36 count, so that's what I'm doing. Another change I'm going to make is that again, not doing the alphabet. I am going to use the lettering to see if I can chart out I am no caged bird, or whatever the small quote from Jane Eyre, where she tells Mr. Rochester that she's not a caged bird. However, the exact quote is. Jane Eyre is my favorite classic novel. Persuasion is my favorite Jane Austen novel. However, Jane Eyre overall is my favorite. And I have a quote from Charlotte Bronte tattooed across my chest, which was in the foreword to the second edition of Jane Eyre. That says, conventionality is not morality, self-righteousness is not religion. And I try very much to live by that. So I look at all these birds and the big house and the dog. The dog makes me think of Pilot in the book, and the house made me think a little bit of Thornfield Manor. And I decided that since this is a bird theme, I am no caged bird, would be a good quote. And so that's what I think I'm going to do. Because then it'll be able to hang in my literary corner that I posted online. So I'm sure you all, like, if you follow me on Instagram, you saw, because I have been posting all my decorating with my chair and all of that. But that wasn't all. While I did not attend the Startathon because I was very busy that day, or this weekend. I had a lot of stuff going on, so I did not get to do the Startathon. I didn't have my kids for my birthday. I had my kids right after my birthday. So I was spending that time, I spent that time with my daughter, and she wanted to do some shopping together. So that's what we did. But that didn't mean I didn't want to get a start in. So currently living in my Rainbow Bright bag because I'm an 80s baby that loves my nerd stuff. So Rainbow Bright is where she's housed. I started a new Artsy Housewife project that should be fairly quick for me. All the stars from my market haul. Now, I will say, I did not get the Threadworks floss because this is the only one of those. This is the only one of those patterns that I bought. Did not buy any of the other ones, so I did not want to get the Threadworks floss. And I instead decided to dig into my DMC variegateds and see what I could find and do some color matching. And I have found some DMCs that I'm pretty happy with that I'm going to use instead. Also, let me see if I can get something behind it so you can see the color better. Recently there was Fight Night, Fabric Fight Night. And in the Fabric Fight Night, one of the fabrics I got was a 32 count cinnamon from BeStitchMe. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to see. I'm going to get some light on it. Now it's kind of washing it out. I don't know. There, that's a little better. Yeah, there you go. 32 count cinnamon. And I got a good start going. So you can kind of tell I kind of outline and block to help myself count. Because when I don't do that, I mess up. I messed up the moons. I left like a whole row out and decided, to heck with it. I am not frogging. Mm-mm. But I have a pretty good start on this, I feel. Um, I'm pretty happy with my start. I don't think this is going to take me very long. Um, that's what I'm doing right now. And that's what these floss are looking pretty good on it. I think later tonight I'm going to start the Elvis kitty because I want to get that stitched before. Okay, so the other thing you may have seen on Instagram, if you follow me at Mini Maneater Pinup on Instagram, is that I will be participating in the Vintage Torquefest Pinup Contest the first weekend in May. Unfortunately, during the spring fling, so I won't get to do the spring fling because I will be on stage. This is maybe not my last pinup contest, but the last time I'm going to do Torquefest for sure. It's pinup. I love pinup. It's a very expensive hobby, however, more than cross stitch. So I am thinking it's time for Mini Maneater to retire from contests, and I may still do photo shoots and occasionally smaller shows. I don't know, but I think Torquefest was my big one because it's local to me. It's a great pinup contest. It's in Dubuque, Iowa, and it supports a charity. A lot of pinup contests are there to support a charity. So another thing you may be seeing on Instagram or on Facebook if you follow me there, because my page is public on Facebook, um, is that I'm doing a fundraiser for the contest. Um, Vintage Torque Fest raises funds for a wonderful organization called Helping Hand is Heart. So I've kind of mentioned it in passing, but about 2 years ago now, well, 3 years ago was when I was diagnosed, but when I like finished treatment and everything would have wrapped up in 2 years ago. I had cancer. So I had breast cancer. Um, Thankfully, we caught it very, 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 very early. So I was able to just have a lumpectomy and radiation. So it was very minimally invasive for me. But that did not mean it wasn't like still physically taxing and exhausting. And I'm a single mom. So I was very scared about my financial future. What did that, what was cancer going to mean for me and my family? I don't get child support because I have joint custody of my kids. We have 50-50 custody. And, um, I was very concerned about my ability to maintain our lives. You know, I'm an active, involved parent, and I want them to have the things that they want and keep a roof over our heads. Um, I have bills just like everyone else. Got to pay a car payment, got to pay rent, got to keep groceries on the table, and do that and go through cancer treatment. I was terrified, and I cried a lot. And some wonderful advocates at the hospital, a nurse said, I think you should talk to somebody because I was crying and not asking for help because I didn't know how to ask and I didn't know what I needed. I just knew that I was scared and doing it alone. And, I had one of my best friends would sometimes go to appointments with me, but otherwise I did not have a big support system. I did not have a partner. Um, I had just gone through a breakup, so I was entirely alone going through cancer and didn't want to put my kids through, I kept them as far away from it as possible. And a wonderful advocate at the hospital said, there are some charities. to help you manage the financial burden so that you don't have to worry about this. That way you can focus on just healing and surviving. And that has stuck with me. Now, Helping Hannah's Heart is not for cancer. So what that is for, I tell you that to explain why this charity means so much to me. Helping Hannah's Heart is a charity that helps families that have children with a congenital heart defect. So the child may be facing open heart surgery, and they adopt a family, sometimes two, usually one or two families, that are about to have heart surgery. And that is a significant financial burden for a family. And I know as a single mother how terrified I was of how I was going to make ends meet battling cancer. I cannot even imagine. I have some imagination based on that limited experience of how much harder that burden would be if it was my child facing a major medical issue, such as a heart defect and needing to have open heart surgery. I do have a friend from high school whose child had a heart defect and has had to have open heart surgery as a kid. Can you imagine watching your child go through that and still having to go to work every day and provide and worry about, I want to be there with my child when my child needs mommy, needs someone to hold their hand. I know how much, just as an adult going through cancer, how much I wished someone was just there to hold me. And I can't even imagine how much worse that is for a child. Just wants their mom, or just wants their dad, just wants their parent. And you got to go to work and pay a bill, pay for that treatment. And this charity helps with that burden. They adopt a family, and the money that this charity raises through this car show and through fundraisers associated with the car show and the pinup contest go towards supporting a family who is actively going through it. The person who started Helping Hannah's Heart, their child went through this, and they started the charity. Hannah was their daughter is their daughter who went through it. So Vintage Torque Fest is about that. And we get to have fun. Get to dress up and try and be a beauty queen, right? How much fun is that? And so all the pinups participating in the contest, we post a fundraiser individually. You can see on my Instagram page that Mini Maneater, that's my stage name. There's a fundraiser. There's a link to the fundraiser on my page. In the bio, if you go to links, there should be a link to the fundraiser. It might also be in my stories. I've been trying to share it to my stories. And we're just trying to raise money to support these families, and the more the better, because they need it. Especially as tough as things are right now, as expensive as things are, and just eggs. Eggs. So no matter how much you give, if you want to help somebody and do something that matters in these tough times, and there's so many different directions you could go, so many things vying for your attention and needing help. If you can help just one person today, I hope that you will choose the fundraiser that I am helping with, and find the link in my bio and donate just a little bit, as little or as much as you want. As little as $5, as little as $1. It doesn't matter. Every dollar counts and is appreciated. So that's my spiel on that. I won't harp on it too much, but I wanted to explain about it and why it matters to me. Because you will see pictures of this contest and of all the hilarity that ensues from it in the coming weeks. I know our first post in May will be late because of me participating in that show because it's the first weekend in May. And it's a lot to get ready for the stage. So that's it for now. I'm going to sign off. And next time, Tanya will be back, hopefully with some stitching or haul. I'm going to leave that up to her and where she's at with what she needs to do with her unpacking and getting her craft space ready. Maybe we'll even be doing this from her craft room that I know she's so excited about. But thank you for tuning in and coming back. I know this is a weird episode, but thank you for tuning in for it. It's a little bit of a WIP parade, a little bit of birthday wrap up. We appreciate you. Catch you on the flippy flop.